Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches here. I'm getting a weird glare on my glasses. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but nothing I can do about it. Sorry. You just have to deal with my glary eyes. Um, Hi. I'm doing my update. It's a little bit late in the afternoon, evening. It's 7:30. It's pretty late. I just my sister and I went to with my other sister and my sister-in-law to see the Mandalorian and Grogu. I always want to put an extra R in there. Grogu, Baby Yoda. As a matter of fact, I have a Mandalorian cup. This is not from the movies. It's from Burger King. But whatever. Um, I'm not a big Mandalorian fan. I mean, I liked it well enough. I guess the first or second season it was on or something. But I'm not that uh, deeply invested in it or anything. But it was kind of cute for a while. But I got kind of bored with it after a while. But whatever. The movie came out. We went to see it. My sister and I went to see the Sheep Detectives the other day. Last week, last weekend. I don't know. Um, but anyway, so we saw The Mandalorian today. So that's one reason why I'm posting this, doing this a little later than usual. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about everything right now. So I've been kind of busy this week doing, this and that, a bunch of stuff. One of the things I did was I had agreed to make these little fobs. They say faith on there, and they're just little. I made them for giveaway things at church. They do like a little welcome bag that they give to people who I don't know if they people who visit the church, people who join the church. I don't know, but so they wanted like handcrafted stuff to put in there. When I visited, I think a couple of years ago, I got a little bag that had some things in it that had like a one of those cloth Kleenex things, envelope kind of things. But anyway, so I went ahead and made these. I made about a dozen of these to put in the to include in those uh, gift bag things. So just need to call the lady that's in charge of that and let her know that I have them available finally. I had called her some time ago to that I was offered to do those, and then I just had gotten started on it and then just put it off, and I finally finished them the other day. I just was determined to just go ahead and do them all finally. Um, anyway, so my last WIPGO project, I think I showed the one, the Raven. Nevermind. Quoth the passive aggressive Raven. That's a Steffi Webb of Lindy Stitches design, and I finished that. I think as of last Friday I showed it. And so my other new start for the month of May was this Heartstring Samplery moon gazer. Um, and so I started on this, and I last week it was sort of at the Death Star stage. The moon here was like only partially done, but so I made some pretty good progress on it. I think, yeah, I got to the end of a thread here. There's a couple more lines to finish the tail, and I want to do that because this color, this white grit, it's grits color, is used in several other things I'm doing later on. So there's like a big field of snow here that it uses that grits color, and then there's some more like little individual stars like this in this area here. Um, But so I want to just go ahead and, like I said, finish this bunny's tail, and then, save that thread for several of the other things I'm doing. And matter of fact, I think I'm going to have to buy at least one more skein, maybe two, for all the, because it's like in a couple of other projects or whatever. So anyway, so this is as far as I got. I finished the moon. I finished this one tree. I did the outline of this bunny. There's another brown color that is used on the body of the bunny, and then oops, his little white tail. Um, and then, like I said, there's a lot of white and gray uh, here, and then there's two more trees. Another one this color, and one a lighter green color. But so, and that green actually is used in one of my other projects. So yeah, so I'm stealing all the threads out of there, or several of them. But anyway, so that is, I may, like I said, I think I'm going to finish the bunny's tail, and then, call it, because tomorrow's the 31st. So that's as far as that's going to go, I think. Um, so June is coming up in a couple of days, and so I'll be starting on all my June projects. So I have the two WIPGO whips and two WIPGO new starts, and I have the June cross stitch camp and some other stuff. So the two numbers for WIPGO for June are 12 and 21. So for 12, let's see, look if I make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Okay. Our favorite elf is my number 12 whip. This is a Teresa Kogut. The Moon Gazer is done 2/2 on 28 count Lugana that I dyed myself. Yeah. This is Our Favorite Elf by Teresa Kogut. And I'm actually almost done with this. When I pulled it out of the project bag, I looked at it, and I've finished I finished all the other colors except for the red of his robe here. So that's all that needs to be done. It's just the filling in of this red color of his robe. Oops, that's the wrong side. That's the chart. The red of his robe. So it's kind of a lot of stitching, but it's kind of not. It's a lot of back and forth, but it's not, insurmountable. So yeah. So I may actually finish this. The goal is 7 days for almost all of these whips, but I may be able to finish it before, at least by the 7 days, if not before. So that's one of my whips, and the other one is Festive Forest by the Blue Flower, and that's what we began to refer to as the muffin. Um, it's like a biscornu, or like a mattress finish, in terms of how you finish it. So down here, you see the full stretched out pattern, if you will. So you stitch all of these little sections, and it's, you basically cut each of these points, so with like maybe half an inch or something to spare, and you pull those points together, and they join up and make these trees on the top. And so yeah, it's all stuffed inside, and it's round, but then you bring the points together. Anyway, so that's my number 21. And last time I worked on it, I had just finished the first two sections, and so there's however many? Are there 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So I have 4 more sections to go, and I just barely started the outline of the third section. So yeah, so that has a lot of stitching to do. And I think when I first started it, I didn't have all the threads because it's a combination of DMC Weeks, uh, Cottage Garden threads, and Roxy Floss. And for a long time, I didn't have all of the Cottage Garden threads, but I think I have all of them now. So, um, yeah. So I hope to finish this. I mean, well, not finish it, but to do more. Oh, more fully. You know, and then my two new starts. Let me get this out of this. I hate this kind of. I don't like the plastic that has the little sticky thing on it. I just used it because I had it handy. Um, but this from last year's Market Stitch the Rainbow series. This is it was the Night Garden palette. This is called Night Owl. This is by Stitchy Prose. And so yeah, it's on like a white background before. It's a 32 count Belfast linen in Celestine by Fiber on a Whim. That's the fabric here. So I haven't chosen a fabric for it yet, but I'm sure I have something because it's only like 60 by 60. I'm sure I probably have something in that grab bag fabric that'll fit that. And I probably won't do like a white or off white color like that. I'll probably do a little bit different color. I don't know. It just depends on what I have. And if I don't find something in those grab bags, I might be able to find something among all my pieces, bits of fabric. But this uses the four, um, what were they called? Threadworks uh, uh, threads from this Night Garden palette, and these are the four threads. I used them. One of my new starts, I think for April, was another one from this Night Garden series. One, the Iris by Blue Flower, used these colors in it, and I just used a little bit of this Concord grape color to start that one because I just did a little bit of a start on that. So uh, because April had three uh, WIPGO numbers, so yeah. So I didn't do very much on that, but I have these colors that I'll use on the Night Owl. And the Night Owl doesn't have a lot of stitching. It's a lot of negative space in there. So yeah, so I should be able to probably be able to finish that. I don't know. It just depends because I've got a lot going on in June. My other new start is Merry and Bright Mice, and I have the colors set aside for this also. They're all Week Style Works colors, I think. Yeah, and again, this one uses yeah I this one uses Lily Pad, which is one that was in the Moon Gazer thing. But so there's these two mice, and they're decorating a tree here. This is a Primrose Cottage. Uh, Primrose Cottage. I think it was a freebie, like a Friday freebie or something like that. They do. Um, so yeah. So I downloaded that. It's two little mice decorating a Christmas tree. I don't remember when I downloaded that. But yeah, so that is also uses Weeks Dye Works threads. And I don't think I've chosen a fabric for that either, but that's okay. Um, so then I talked about how for June, the cross stitch camp, the challenge was to stitch something from a magazine. So of course I'm using um, this issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. The fall issue from 2020, and this is my glitchy copy of, but it's these two owls. Autumn Owl Etching by Cecilia Turner of Heart and Hand. And these are I did find the threads I used for them from a couple of years ago when I stitched it for my sister-in-law. So yeah, so there's the 4 colors of that. So for cross stitch camp, hopefully I'll be able to finish it, pretty quickly, because it's a small design. I think the stitch count is only 50 by 50. Yeah. So these are the colors for that. So that's June cross stitch camp. And I chose a fabric. This is from the grab bag. So it's just an off-white color here. There's a little bit of very light modeling on it. So yeah. So I'm going to use that because I think the other ones I stitched are like either they might be a 32 count Murano Carré or something else, but they're all kind of like an off-white color, I think, as I recall. But anyway, so that's the fabric I'm going to use for autumn owl etching for June's cross stitch camp. The July and August I've talked about before. I've chosen the patterns, but I don't know that I spent one day looking at threads and everything for all of my upcoming projects for June, for cross stitch camp, for I have several patriotic designs, for the Freedom Flock is my July cross stitch camp project, and what is it? Glory in the Wind is the August one. So those are both like patriotic things, and Freedom Flock I had the fabric for a while, and I got all the threads finally, and then Glory in the Wind, I think I had to order all those threads, but they all came in, so that was ready to go. I just have to choose a fabric for it. I think I don't think I have a fabric for that. So like I said, the other day I just had everything piled on my bed, all this, I'm making lists of threads and everything else. So and some of them like overlap, and some of them are DMC that I couldn't find anywhere. So they're either in another project or whatever. So I'm probably just gonna buy a whole bunch of them just because if they're in if I have them, which I'm sure I do, they're in another project somewhere, and I couldn't put my hands on them, and so rather than tearing everything apart and pulling threads out of everything, I'm just gonna go buy some. It's a handful of DMC threads. So, but so that I have coming up for so I think I'm set for June. But so the other thing that oopsie, I almost lost that. I had an order with Lindy Stitches from the Spring Mingle last weekend, and that came in. And so along with the stuff that I ordered, she packed in a bunch of little goodies. One of them was this little moth sticker, and one was this little card for the upcoming Midsummer Stitch, which is July 18th through 19th. So maybe that's what the moth is from. Yeah, it's for the summer one. So it has here the designers that are going to be there. Tiny Modernist, Jet X Stitch, the Blue Flower, House of Cam, and Be Stitch Me fabric dyers. I don't know. I know Tiny Modernist and Jet X Stitch are, and the Blue Flower. House of Cam, I don't know. I don't know if that's. I'm assuming that's a pattern company, whatever. And Be Stitch Me, of course, is fabric. But also on the back of this card, it's like a project card. So again, it has the Midsummer Stitch information. LindyStitches.com. That's in my description box. But on the back of this card, you can list your project and the date started, the fabric dyer, fabric color, fabric count, floss dyer, and other notes on there. So, yeah, that's that little card. So this came with my order. And then she also included this little door hanger. So it has all the virtual events, the Spring Mingle, Midsummer Stitch, Harvest Moon Hangout, and Jingle Ball. So, and the dates for all of those. But on the other side of this door hanger, it says, "Please do not disturb. I'm stabbing things." There's some, stitching accessories, and then this little sign, so you can hang that on your door. So I thought that was clever. And what I was waiting on, what I ordered, was this set of Puntini pins. Her avocado, I'm taking it out of the bag here. Her avocado toast pins. So there's a little piece of toast. This one button. There's a flower here, and then a purple avocado. Yeah. So I think I have another set of Puntini pins from, I think it was, I don't know if it was Jingle Ball last year or one of the other, like one of the other virtual events. But I have not used them yet. I have them set aside somewhere. But anyway, so, and the same thing with these. I don't have any specific plans for them. I just thought it was really cute, so I went ahead and got them. And the other thing I bought at the Spring Mingle was the exclusive fabric that was dyed specifically for the Jingle Ball. And this is called Gaia by Picture This Plus. And I got 36 count linen. I was going to get 32 count, but it was sold out, so I got 36. And it turned out to be serendipitous. So this is like a 18 by 27 cut. So, but it's a nice light blue, and it's got some modeling in there. It's very, very pretty. So I went ahead and bought that. And like I said, I don't ordinarily buy fabric just because, I dye it myself. It's a little cheaper, and I can get whatever color I want, whatever. So, but I went ahead and bought that. I thought it was really pretty when she was showing what she was gonna be offering in the shopping hall and all that. And that was one of the first things I did when I went to the Spring Mingle, was to go to the shopping hall and snatch it up, because I knew that fabric would sell out very quickly. So, and then these are threads that some of them I already had, and some of them I purchased specifically for an upcoming project. So all these threads I'm going to be using on that blue fabric, and the only one I'm concerned about how it'll show on there is this light blue, because one of the things on the stitching on there has some of it is like outlined in darker blue, but there's a little section that that uses this blue, and this I'm concerned about showing up on this fabric, but we'll see. So what these colors are for, and there's some DMC also with this, but they're for this project that I bought called, of course, A Worthy Patriot. You all have seen this. This is by Plum Street Samplers, A Worthy Patriot. And I had seen this, I guess it came out at Market, and several people bought it at Market. I just loved it. But it was one of those that I thought, gosh, it's awfully big, it's awfully complicated. Excuse me. I don't know. So but the more I thought about it, and the more I saw other people talking about that they're gonna stitch it. There was, I think I talked about this last week, that there's a um, one stitcher whose channel I was watching. I don't remember who it was, but that she's going to be stitching like patriotic stuff from Memorial Day, which was last Monday, until Labor Day, which is like the 7th or something like that of September. So, she has several weeks to work on all these patriotic patterns. And so I thought, I'm going to try to squeeze this in wherever I can fit it in. Um, if I can work on, one little section, at a time or something like that. Yeah. But it's, there's like some lettering and stuff that'll go, I think, pretty quickly. And there's some other, like this. I mentioned last week before I had this about Paul Revere and these other guys, and I talked about it has a solid background. It's not Paul Revere. It's George Washington crossing the Delaware. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. Um, but anyway, so yeah, this has kind of dense stitching because this dark night sky whatever. Um, and then this little sawtooth border thing is done in satin stitches, and this is the model was stitched 1/2 on Cedar River linen coffee stain, 36 count coffee stain. But I think like I said, I think I'm going to use that blue Gaia fabric on this. It's 36 count. Um, so I think I'm going to do it. So there's Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, General Arts, and DMC threads on that. And there's also like uh, on one end of the last part of the chart, details about like what you stitch, and then like some of the back stitching and long stitches that are over it, and basically how to do it and how it's going to show up and all that. So and it makes it a little easier to understand that way. But then also on this back page, a list of notes about the like Patrick Henry's speech, George Washington's Mount Vernon, and just various details of what this chart represents and what it's about and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So I have a chart called Stand Firm, which is an Abraham Lincoln tribute thing. It has a lot of like little things, little representations of various things from Abraham Lincoln's life. And then I have Salmon Liberty, which is a stitching with the housewives um, small pattern. And so Worthy Patriot, what did I just say? Stand Firm and Salmon Liberty, I think, are the three patriotic charts I have that are not tied specifically to anything. And then I'm doing Freedom Flock and Glory in the Wind for July and August cross stitch camp. And I don't think I have any other patriotic things for the semi-quincentennial. Yeah, so I'm going to see what I can squeeze in between all my everything else I'm stitching. But the cross stitch camp and WIPGO and all that, we shall see. I won't necessarily finish Worthy Patriot in any, uh, in any, probably not this summer. But I think starting it this summer would be nice, would be fun. Yeah. So, I probably won't, I certainly won't finish it by the 4th, but, and probably by Labor Day. Probably not by Labor Day, but I can get a good start on that. So, I think, golly, I think that's it for my upcoming plans and all of that. Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying not to have a crap avalanche here. So yeah, that's my like I said, what I'm thinking of the end of this month, today and tomorrow, and then all my stuff that I've got planned for June, which is a lot of stitching. It's kind of smaller projects, but just a lot to do. Yeah, the one that is kind of a big project is that Festive forest. Just because there's just lots of little, it's all these little animals, and the trees and those little peak frame things that are just a lot of stitching. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so my like my new starts like this Marion Bright and the Night Owl thing, they're not huge projects, and they don't have a specific goal on them. The new starts don't have a specific goal, so I could stitch it on one day if I have to meet that goal or whatever. So we shall see. I'm hoping, like I said, to finish our favorite elf, because there's just that one, just a little bit of stitching left on it, and it'll be done. So we shall see how that goes. Anyway, so that is June, and it'll be starting on Monday, is June 1st. So yeah, I think that is all I have to do. Yeah. And like it's late. I haven't eaten dinner. I kind of spent too much more money than I planned to spend at the movies, but whatever. So now I'm gonna go, forage for something to eat, uh, and we'll see. So thanks again for watching. Oh, by the way, this is my my little patriotic shirt. I did wear it last Sunday, but yeah, I'm wearing it again today. Yeah. So anyway, so I will see you next week. We'll see how much I've gotten accomplished. Yeah. Okay, so until then, thanks for watching. Again, I want to say I haven't done this in a while, but welcome to any new viewers, and welcome back to all my subscribers. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe and click that little bell so that you'll get notified whenever I upload a new video, which is typically every Saturday at some point, either in the morning or in the late morning, I should say, early afternoon, or as now, in the evening, just depending on what's going on. But yeah, go ahead and click subscribe and ring in the bell, and yeah, that'd be great. Join the party, have fun. So yeah, that's it. And I will see you next week, and it'll be June when the next time I see you. All right, so thanks a lot. Bye. Thanks for watching.